It's finally happening, and it's happening so much sooner than I could have ever predicted. In the fall of 2025, I think we are finally hitting the tipping point. We are crossing the chasm from AI just kind of being on the edge to the people who are early adopters to actually crossing over to what we call the early majority, the normal people. Your grandpa is starting to use ChatGPT and AI tools. And there's a number of implications for it, and that's what we're going to get into with this show. But welcome back to Bot Bros, the segment of the AI-driven marketer where we cover the help and separate it out from the hype that is the AI news cycle. I'm Dan Sanchez, and I'm joined by my brother, Travis Sanchez.
So glad to be here.
And today we have a lot of news, not a lot of product news, but a lot of industry news, a lot of like benchmarks that are important to cover because it has implications. You need to be thinking about this as marketers. So let's dive right into it. First up in the news is that ChatGPT is now up to 700 million active weekly users.
That's wild.
So that was kind of a big headline, but 700 million active users is no joke.
No,
to put it into context, this is where Facebook was in 2011.
Man.
Another report I saw from Ethan Mollick said he pulled another report. I'm trying to remember where he got his report from, but I trust from Pew Research, so pretty good. Saying about a third of adults are using AI in a meaningful way multiple times a week. A third. That's a lot. We're talking about the third of adult population in the US is now using AI.
Wow. It's like 100, it's like 80 million.
Yeah, I don't know. The US population is
like
what,
230,
240? So
I think it's no.
Sounds
It's
about
like
right if you're not including kids.
320. It's 320 with kids. It's 260 without kids. So 260 million. So I'm guessing 80 to 100 million in America.
That's a lot. That's enough people that you hear it in normal conversations now. I heard it this weekend. I was at a soccer tournament for my son, and the opposing team, I was sitting right next to them. There's just a bunch of adults, they're hanging out in their kids' tournaments or this soccer match we're at. And the guy was talking about AI and how he's using it in his business and all this kind of stuff. And people are like, oh, yeah, I've been using it for blah, blah, blah. You're like, when a third of adults are using it, like people are starting to talk.
Yes.
People are starting to share.
Yes.
And then, of course, that's why it's the tipping point. Because now that normal people are starting to use it, they're starting to talk about it, and their friends are going to catch on.
But it's not just America; it's internationals as well. As I just hung out with 10 international guys from a different country, they were talking about it, and it's happening in their native language, and they're like joking about, why didn't you just throw it into ChatGPT, you dummy? Like it's not just America; it's literally international. I mean, people know that, but. It's helpful to like confirm.
Yeah. ChatGPT is quickly just becoming the verb now. I wish it were shorter
Literally.
Because it's a freaking mouthful.
ChatGPT.
Why don't you just ChatGPT that? Why don't you just ask ChatGPT?
Google it.
Dude, every time I do a recording where I'm recording and filming YouTube videos all day and you're saying ChatGPT like a million times, you're like, ChatGPT. You start slurring it. Oh.
I just say throw it into chat. People seem to know, but chat, I guess, is also used with like Twitch and live streamers. Like, what's going on, chat? So
I don't know. I don't know if anybody who listens to this podcast is also into Twitch. Though I did start. Did you know I'll talk about this in a minute, but like I started live streaming on Twitch this week.
Oh, did you?
I'll tell you about it in a minute. But let's get back into. AI use is up. I also have another news report, and that AI progress is actually ahead of expectations. So again, I think this one I saw from Ethan Mollick. He's such a good follow on Twitter or LinkedIn. He posts really reliable news. It's a little bit more
when it comes to AI
academic, but it's pretty approachable. So if you want to go ahead and find a reliable source of like talking about what's going on in AI, Ethan Mollick's really good. He wrote a really popular book called Co-Intelligence that I was part of my book list that I talked about marketers should read. Definitely worth the read. It's a pretty basic book, but it's a good primer. But he reported recently kind of talking about how AI is well ahead of progress from even predictions from a few years ago. Like 6 months into when ChatGPT came out and people were really optimistic about where it could be a few years from then, we're like way ahead of those projections.
Wow.
As far as the progress and the speed and the intelligence of which AI is actually able to execute. So no wonder why people are actually adopting it, because it's becoming more useful, more reliable than me stumbling around through Google trying to find an actual answer. Yes, it still hallucinates, but who's to say we were going to find the right answer by Googling it, or that our friend knew the right answer? And pretty soon it'll be even if that like that we'd have more of a chance to get the right answer from ChatGPT than our doctor, which has happened to me before. And I'm not saying ChatGPT is always right on those things. It's why you have to be really careful with the important stuff. But there has been times where my ChatGPT was right more than my doctor, and times, of
Wow.
course, where the doctor knew better than ChatGPT. That's why you have to be really careful. But we're getting to this place where AI is quickly and accelerating, and people are actually starting to catch on. So what do you think this means overall, Trav?
I mean, I think about it from a few different aspects. One, marketing, of course. Two, just investing, because I'm like, where's the money flowing into this, and where is it flowing out of? How is this changing how marketers are talking about their product, their services, how companies are dealing with marketers? Is that changing at all? Obviously, we've talked a ton about copywriters and how different things. So it's shifting a lot. I feel like in the next 3 years, with all that AI is now accomplishing through design, through video, through written, through planning, it's I don't. We're not ready for the trajectory and speed at which this is going to continue to take off. Even like you said, they ran a poll that it's ahead of its progress will is ahead of expectations. That's wild because we knew that AI was going to speed up technology. It wasn't going to slow things down. It was actually going to speed it up, and it still beat the expectations of our anticipation of speed. That's
From the optimist making predictions, right?
yes,
Making reasonable predictions like, well,
yes,
based on where we're going, we could be at X. We passed X.
yeah,
We are now on Z. It's like, wow, okay. Of course, there's hurdles, and they keep running into hurdles. And I won't get into like what hurdles they're running into. I remember this time last year, people were talking about like, oh my gosh, we're going to hit a wall. It's going to stop. We overcame it. No problem. We just found ways around the wall. And they keep doing that over and over, and they will continue doing that. And even if they don't, like I've said this from the beginning on the show, like even if they hit a wall and it slows development down, there will still be massive progress based on what we currently have live right now from people just figuring out how to better implement it.
right.
I heard there was a post from a really awesome CMO who works for a tech company on LinkedIn. She's like, man, if you're a marketer, you need to go work for an AI tech company right now, because what we have right now is cool, but I'm watching the engineers at our company who are top notch, who are figuring out what the next couple of months to next year's worth of things that are coming into our product, and OMG, this is going to be crazy. And that's just based on what the AI tech we have right now. Like it takes them a year or two to figure out how to like think through like, okay, now that we have this new capability, what's now possible? And then to work it, engineer it, test it, and then roll it out, get feedback, and make it really good. Like we're only just now seeing what like tech from last year is getting rolled into products now, and it's really good. We haven't really even figured out what agents are like in like your CRM. When you have a good agent hooked up to your CRM, what it's actually capable of. We're just now starting to see that. Like HubSpot demoed some things this week that are interesting.
Yeah, Meta demoed some things this week too, and their AI stuff fell flat, bro. I hope we
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, well, their glasses were cool. Still not prime time yet, but
they live demoed the AI aspect to the glasses, and it was just like, and the guy was like, "The Wi-Fi's bad. I gotta go," and then they just shut it down. They blamed it on the Wi-Fi. I thought that was so
man,
dumb.
classic.
Yeah,
Dude, I remember doing live demos, and that was like my boss at the time always blamed it on the firewall because nobody really understands how firewalls work. Oh, it must be the firewall. What do you use for a firewall again? Nobody knows. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Anyways,
Blamed it
all
for the
right.
Wi-Fi. My gosh. there's some implications for this huge wave that's coming with this tipping point. If more and more people are starting to use AI, that changes the landscape, and it's going to change it for marketers. It's going to have a massive change across the, like, all industries are going to be hit by
Yes.
this generally.
Yes.
But there's a few in particular that's going to impact marketers. And the first and obvious one that we've already been talking about, but is that, like, you need to be waking up to this, is SEO.
Right. Number
It's
one.
amazing to me that some of the leaders in SEO are like banging the drum saying it's not changing. It's not
No
changing. Rand
way.
Fishkin in
Are they really?
particular, he's like, nothing's changed. Google had a record year in 2024 and it's kind of held steady this year. And I'm like, bro, how do you not see the tea leaves on this one? Like, it is obvious what's coming. And
Yeah.
for some reason, you're still defending Google search.
Wow.
Why? Like, it's like Google's going to have to make the play of moving over to AI, and they are. They're not doing the thing where they're going to defend search, and they're quickly trying to figure out how to roll over into AI mode and stuff, and rolling out more and more AI in the search results because they know, they see the data themselves. But if you're a marketer dependent on search traffic right now,
You have
you
to.
have 2 years, maybe, to figure out how to
Okay.
diversify that out.
So as we've seen, where the crowd moves, so do the ads. Are ads coming to interfaces of
100%.
ChatGPT? Like, because how annoying. And now, I mean, I don't know if you've seen, if you've scrolled on Instagram, it's like real sponsored ad, real sponsored ad, sponsored ad. I'm like, what the heck? 3 in a row? It's like they're balanced. Somehow they're giving a sponsored ad for every like 1.5 actual content reel.
That's called a mature platform.
Bro.
I mean, that's where we got with TV. Do you remember how horrible TV advertising was? You'd watch a 30-minute segment and
Oh,
like
8 minutes of
9 minutes
ads.
of it would be
Yeah.
advertising.
Yeah, totally.
You'd like watch a movie on TNT and it would take like 4 hours to watch an hour 20-minute movie.
You cannot pay for Disney Plus's first level or even second level.
Bro, I
And
signed
you
up for
have to
Disney
watch
Plus for
ads. I
just
have to
1
watch
month.
ads and I'm paying
It
$15
costs
a month.
$30.
Yes, to not watch ads. I'm like,
Yeah.
I recently got Disney Plus again because I wanted to watch the new Star Wars thing. And then I figured out, oh no, I got to pay how much? I'm like, I'm canceling this after a month. I'm going to watch this whole series in a month.
Same. I did the same thing, bro.
Oh, okay.
It's like $30. You get 1 month. You got my 3-month budget just in 1 month now.
Yes,
Goodbye.
literally. I could not be more annoyed. Anyways, I hate ads.
Bought a couple movies for this and on Amazon Prime and just rewatch them over and over again.
I pay for YouTube Premium because I was tired of waiting 5 seconds to skip the ads all the time. That was a great decision, by the way. No, having YouTube access with no ads is fantastic. But anyways, I'm just wondering if ads are now going to come to my interface of ChatGPT.
It's inevitable because there's a demand from advertisers to be able to advertise, and people want free stuff. So they're going to plug it in. At least Google will, for starters. Will ChatGPT? I think it's highly likely that ChatGPT monetizes the free version.
You know how ads have then shape-shifted to be like companies are making reels where now the reels, these videos, these TikToks, you can't even tell they're ads until you go, something's fishy about this. And then you see that it's sponsored. I'm like, ChatGPT is going to answer our questions with a little ad that you won't even feel like it's an ad. I'm like, what's the best fishing lure? It's like, well, other than using a Coke can soda top cut into a fishing hook, which is a delicious drink, you can use a bass. I'm like, whoa. Why are you shifting my question to Coca-Cola? Yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that, but it's just going to be inevitable. And they'll figure out a way to like have a different AI engine for the ads than the answer engine, I'm sure, but it'll be tied together into one user interface. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm confident ChatGPT will monetize. I don't like it. I don't want it. I do want it from a marketing perspective. I don't want it from a consumer perspective, but it is what it is. So SEO is going to go away. Or not, it's not going to go away. It's just going to change because obviously people will start doing SEO for AI and recommendations and stuff. That'll be a thing. I think generally expectations will shift dramatically from people because they'll be so used to AI answering questions and leading them and guiding them that like behavior, there will be a massive shift in behavior across the board. So that's something to pay attention to closely. Pay attention to your own habits as you use AI rather than your traditional things. How are you now buying things? I've noticed this shifting for me. I'm buying things based on the recommendations of AI because I'll ask it to do the research and be like, hey, find me something, especially if it's not something like a quick thing. But like a lot of my supplements and workout things, I'm now using AI to research them, and that's
That's right.
influencing my behavior and what I'm buying. I think it's going to happen in B2B too, because it's so easy when there's like 5 different solutions. Be like, hey, here's my criteria. Go and do research on all 5 of these software solutions
It's true.
and rank them for me and then give me a
Right. Tell me the
recommendation. Of
pros and
course,
cons and the irritations from customers. And they'll pull that information so fast where I
yeah.
don't know if you remember, you'd have to look up a blog that talks about active campaign versus Pardot from Salesforce. And it's like, well, here are the pros, here are the cons, littered with ads. It's kind of like you got to
Yeah.
filter through the noise. And then you're like, wait, this is sponsored by Salesforce. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
of course. Okay. It's
Yeah.
like restart.
Yeah. So that'll change. And then I think a big one that marketers really need to consider right now is that yes, user behavior will change. More importantly, how users learn will change dramatically.
Almost like the information age is going to change because of ChatGPT and how they
Yeah.
consume it.
Content marketing was based on the fact that people would have a question and go look it up and learn about a thing, would have a problem, go look it up and read a lot of articles or watch some YouTube videos about it. That's all going to change dramatically because people won't look it up. They'll just go to ChatGPT and ChatGPT will guide them through it, even coach them through it, not just give them the answer, but coach them on how to think about it, right? It's learning mode in ChatGPT. There's a learning mode in there now. If you haven't experimented with it, go try it. It's really cool to where it doesn't give you the straight up answer. It answers your questions with questions to help pull it out of you and give you a little bit along the way, like a good guide would. That'll be more common and people will be learning directly from AI now. So then what does content marketing shift to?
I don't know.
My opinion, a lot of it will shift to personal brands. People will still want to follow people for a lot of different things and opinions and insights on things because AI can't have core values. AI can't have convictions. AI only believes whatever you prompt it with.
Right.
And we'll trust that for a lot of decisions, but for a lot of things, a bigger issues, people will still go to people because people have values based on experiences
How does that
that are
search?
told through
How does
story.
that? How does that show up in the search engine though, or in the ChatGPT prompt?
It happens before that. But people are going to want to know the truth and there'll be less and less trust out there in the airwaves. And even especially as it starts to get dirtier with ads being sprinkled into ChatGPT results, people will start to wonder and there will be trust issues everywhere because so much AI generated content will be out there. So they will look for trusted voices to help them cut through the noise. That is the content that is AI. And they'll turn to people. Like the story that I've been telling more and more often is like I was trying to buy a pre-workout supplement and I was looking down a Walmart aisle full of supplements and I was like,
Yeah, I
oh
think
my
you shared
gosh,
this last time.
I don't even really know what I'm looking for yet, but
Took
I
a
know I
picture.
want some because I want the caffeine in the morning. This is the fastest way to get it right before I work out. And
Navy SEAL dude.
yeah, so I picked Jocko because of his stories, because of his values. It was easy choice. Everything looked fancy. Everything looked good. His stood out because I trusted him more. And I think the trust game becomes important because of personal brands. So I think that becomes a bigger thing. There will be a lot of things that change. Those are just a few that I thought is like, as this tidal wave comes, as we cross the chasm and the majority of people start having this. I remember when it happened for iPhones, when the 3GS came from and everybody was like, oh, there's an app for that. Remember that campaign? That's just as iPhones were starting to hit this like 30% mark into the half mark. And then it just went over the years. And then it wasn't uncommon to be like, oh, look, even 13-year-olds have iPhones now.
Wow.
And now it's weird if a 13-year-old doesn't have an iPhone
True.
or a smartphone of some kind. So that's what's going on in the news. One quick other news update is that ChatGPT, of course, they rolled out ChatGPT 5 recently, and people are like, oh my gosh, I want the ability to have more granularity. I want to be able to pick. I don't want it to always choose for me. So they quickly rolled out like, okay, you can pick the thinking mode if you want to. But that came out weeks ago. And now just recently, they made it so you can pick which thinking mode. So it's like we're back to the multiple models thing, but it's a little bit more hidden and it's not so confusing anymore. You don't have this if you're a free user, so just plus users. But if you go to ChatGPT and you select the thinking model in the little talk box or where you put your prompt, you will now have a button that says you can think the standard amount of time or an extended amount of thinking time. Now, I remember Nicole Leffer actually posted, like, if you want to trigger, it's like automatic, but you know how you can trick an automatic car into shifting gears by like playing with the accelerator a little bit?
Yes.
You can sometimes like get it to throttle up or down. It's kind of like that. But if you prompted it, hey, use no reasoning model, it would give you the fastest one. Give me your lowest reasoning model. Give me your middleweight reasoning model. Hey, give me your deepest reasoning model. If you put that in your prompt, it would be able to switch it kind of like an automatic mode. But now you can just do it manually and check it. You can check standard or extended. Now, if you have a pro version of ChatGPT, you can go light model, medium, standard model, extended model, heavy thinking model, which is cool. But remember, you could do that in the prompt if you just put no reasoning, lightest reasoning, medium reasoning, heaviest reasoning. And you can actually just do it that way too. So, but it's nice that they gave us a button so people have a little bit more control. You can pick if you want to think longer or shorter or not think at all. You kind of have more control over it, which is nice that they gave that back. So, a minute ago, we were talking about how I went live for the first time, or at least I went live this week. And this is something I brought up to you because I thought about even doing this show live for people to have a pre-show, there were podcasts, and then a post-show, a Q&A. And we might still do that. We'll see. But I was like, I kind of want to just throw it to the wind and try something new. So I went live and I built a whole campaign live. In fact, it's almost like flying an airplane while it's taking off because I was like, I'm going to do a live show. In fact, I'm going to build the live show while doing it live. So I kind of have a rough idea. I'm like, I'm going to have 15 minutes where I come up with the stakes and then I have 60 minutes to build it. And then there's consequences if I fail.
Wow.
But I didn't know what the consequence would be. I didn't even know. I set some stakes. We're going to build this show, and I came up with a list of things that I had to build. Like I had to build the breakdown of the show, the name, the description, a landing page so people could sign up for text messages, music for it. I had a whole list of things to do, and Ken was there, and he was giving me some banter about it. And we did it all with AI live. Actually, going to do it again next Wednesday at 1:00. Central Time. So if you go to the YouTube page for the AI Driven Marketer, you can subscribe to that, or on my LinkedIn profile at linkedin.com/in/digital marketing Dan. Whew, that's a mouthful. You can sign up for that live event. I'll be going live again to try it out. The name of the show is Ship Happens. So we ship it, or I ship it. I kind of went with that name. Remember that old Kmart commercial? I shipped my pants.
You can ship my bed.
I shipped my bed. Yeah. Billy, ship your pants. Yeah. Such a good commercial. So we kind of went with that angle. So we'll see if we can ship it with AI. I actually failed, and someone in the audience said I had to do 100 push-ups. So I did 100 push-ups and couldn't breathe afterwards, but it was fun. I think we'll just have a new steak every single time. But
I love that.
One of the cool things I did, though, that makes it really easy to sneak in today's sponsor, which of course is High Level, is that I already had a bunch of pre-made landing pages and funnels and forms built. And in High Level, it just makes it so much easier to duplicate the whole thing. So I just took a pre-working funnel, duplicated it over, swapped in this new thing with a different form, just duplicated the form, bam. And I had a whole working funnel really fast because High Level just makes it easy to duplicate things. If you haven't heard of High Level, it's an amazing CRM marketing automation platform. It's what I use for myself. It's what I've been recommending for years. And now they've been kind of the sponsor, and I'm an affiliate of High Level over the last few months. So if you're in the market for that, go check it out. danchiz.com/high level. Anyway, let's move over to everyday AI. Trav, why don't you tell me what you're doing with your homeschool with your kids?
Yeah, so we go through a homeschool curriculum. We're going through the different countries of Africa, and they had some cool information, and we just wanted to get more insights. So we just turned on voice mode, and my kids were able to ask ChatGPT, like, well, what about this about that country? What about this? It was about Madagascar. What are the people there? What do they speak? I mean, we were just able to like interactively ask these kinds of questions, and it got them curious. It got them to learn more. It was fun that I was able to actually have a voice mode where they were able to interact and learn.
That's a great idea. I need to do that with my kids. Because it always has an answer.
What about you? Everyday AI?
Everyday AI. One of the things I did during that live session was use it to come up with names for the show. And the way I even got to Ship Happens which was an interesting prompt that I hadn't used before, but it was really effective. Because at first you ask it to come up with names and it comes up with ChatGPT names that are just kind of straightforward and plain and boring. But I was like, no, give me a list of names that are a play on words that have a deeper meaning.
Oh, that's smart.
Oh my gosh. The names it produced in the next round, like bot or not was one, prompt and circumstance was one, and then ship happens was one. Those were the top three contenders. And I was like, ship happens is way more memorable. And the double meaning of that worked really well. So that was just kind of a fun. I'm like, I'm keeping that prompt in my back pocket now because
Awesome.
it worked really good, and it was worked in a pinch too because I needed it fast.
Wow. My second use for everyday AI was I had this like bump in my hand, and I wasn't really sure what it was, and it kind of hurts, but not too bad. So I started explaining it to ChatGPT, and it was like, it sounds like you have a ganglion cyst in your hand. So then I asked somebody else who's really intelligent. I was like, man, I got this thing in my hand. He goes, it sounds like a ganglion cyst. And I was like, oh my gosh, you said the same thing AI said. So I was impressed that it was able to come up with the same result as someone who would know what it would be. So that was cool.
It is cool. Just recently, I launched a poll because I was curious with all this news around ChatGPT 5 and the thinking model. And I gave you buttons to do extended versus standard thinking model. I'm like, how many people are actually using the thinking reasoning model? So I asked a poll, asked the audience. And I said, how often do you use a thinking/reasoning model when you use AI? And the results were kind of surprising. Of course, the people who follow me on LinkedIn are generally like probably using AI daily, multiple times a day. So like they're the more power users. But the largest one out of all of them, let's say these were the answers they could have given. It was almost always, more often, less often, and rarely/never/I don't know. Okay, so pretty vague as far as to like what does it mean, but I just wanted people's gut instinct of how much they were using it. That's it. And almost always was 38% at the highest. And then 27%, a little less, was more often, 21% was less often, and 13% was rarely, never, I don't know. So generally, if you're a power user, you're probably using the thinking models a lot. How often do you feel like you're using it?
I just like the auto where it decides if it's going to go into a higher reasoning thinking model. Like you mentioned before, where they gave you the options back again. I can see when it switches higher to reasoning, it starts really thinking through the answer. And I love that because sometimes I'm just asking quick, quippy questions that I know it'll answer immediately. And then the other times where I'm like, no, I need to understand why it feels like my son's ADHD is controlling his entire nervous system. And it's like, oh, yeah, let me get back to you on that. So I just love that it has that auto kick in. So I was shocked that people even want to like, no, I really want you to think about this. It's like, I feel like it's smart enough to know, but I use it. I mean, I see it kick on fairly regularly. I don't know how many times a week.
Yeah. I think most people don't think about it, don't know. I think the power users like to be able to select it. I select thinking model pretty often. I'd say probably less than half though. I'm probably at like 40% thinking model where I'm purposefully selecting it. And
Wow.
I'm doing it when I know there's multiple variables to consider. It's not just give me an answer on this. It's like, yes, give me an answer on this, but consider these other 2-3 things at the same time because it's going to drastically change how you answer it.
Right.
If you're quick to rush the gun on one or two things, but it needs to consider a lot, then I generally am just telling it to think more about it. I don't even want to waste the time of trying to wonder if it's going to trigger. So I'm still doing it often. That and that the whole sometimes you get their worst thinking their worst model in the ChatGPT 5. There's actually like 5 models tied into one, and the worst one, the fastest one, is not very good. That's the problem, and the thing that I get concerned about is that worst one is actually worse than 4.0 substantially.
Wow.
It's also cheaper, so like there's a reason why they rolled it out financially. It's like they can't give free users some of the most powerful versions without also trying to balance it out with cheaper versions. You know what I'm saying? So like I get why they did it and I respect it. I like it. I thought it was a good move. But sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't want the cheap version on this one. I wanted to think hard about it. So that's what I've done. And lastly, viral post of the week was this awesome post about Higgsfield AI. Have you heard of Higgsfield yet? Bro, I saw this post And then I was recording a bunch of videos with Social Media Examiner. In fact, if you guys haven't seen, I've been recording like a whole video series of Social Media Examiner. It's on their AI Explored YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the show notes for the episode. But those are like highly polished YouTube videos that I'm shooting with them. But I was talking with the video producer who's filming these with me, and he does a lot of video, and he's like, dude, yeah, I use Higgsfield. I'm like, Higgsfield? How come I haven't heard of this before? And then I saw this video demo, of course, on X later, and it's this awesome video. And Higgsfield AI is essentially like one of those multi-tools. They have their own video models, but they're also pulling in a lot of APIs from other video models like Google's and I forgot all the other. There's a lot of video models out there, and I just don't play with video as much. But there's a lot of different video models, and they're pulling all the other tools into one like super video platform called Higgsfield. And he was showing me some of the things that he was doing, and it was impressive. I was like, oh my gosh! It gave you like he showed me a video where it's like, oh, just a few clicks, and I gave it one photo of a woman standing next to a race car because he does a lot of creative work with like NASCAR, and it's like a woman sitting next to a car, and it did like one of those that comes from like a satellite image and zooms into the part where it's like going into the racetrack right to the car and then spins around, gets the shot, and then spins around the car. It's like two different filters Higgsfield had. I'm like, and it looked, couldn't tell it was AI. It looked so good.
Wow.
I was like, my gosh, this would have been really expensive to do. Higgsfield is easy. The viral post, though, and I'll link to it in the show notes, is this video of like the Joker walking out of the building as it's exploding, and someone quickly like circles it, and it's like, hey, here's a photo of a different outfit. Change the outfit. Boom, Joker's walking in a totally different outfit. Boom, Joker's walking in a mariachi outfit. Boom, now he's wearing a dress. Boom, now he's wearing this. Boom, now we dropped a Lamborghini in the scene, and it looks almost flawless. The Lamborghini still looks a little suspect, a little sus there, but it's still pretty dang good. You're like, my gosh, this video thing is getting unreal. And it's all about the control you now have over video with AI is getting outstanding.
Yeah. No, it's crazy how it can change the appearance. They like putting Coke in his hand, a pack of Corona Extra, and then Heineken. They're like changing what he's holding. Now, this scene is one of the most famous scenes in movie history, so you can tell it's not like the original scene, but something nuanced, like, yeah, the NASCAR thing, and it's not as, like, specific.
Yeah.
And someone, I'm just going to do it. Someone over the age of 50 won't be able to tell this wasn't the original scene. Not everyone over the age of 50, not everyone, but a majority. I'm just saying, not you,
Bro.
Michael, who's 50 and thinks he this doesn't pass. I get it, okay? I didn't say everyone.
Look, it's fooling me. I literally, just before the show, I texted you something that I thought was real. And then on second view, I'm like,
really?
no, this is fake.
Oh, I missed it. I didn't watch it.
Oh, bro. It was like this video of a woman riding this like robot horse thing.
Okay.
And it looked real. It looked legit. And then I was like paying really close attention. I'm like, okay, her socks don't match. And I'm like, if this probably isn't real. And then I looked really closely at the crowd behind her, and it all looks like they're holding up phones, but no, everyone's holding up their hands like as if they're holding up a phone, but nobody has phones in their hands.
That's so funny.
But it looks so real. And I know people are working on technology where you can have mechanical horses, which is crazy, because if you can have a mechanical horse, you can essentially get around all kinds of terrain problems. Like it's almost like a four-wheeler, but it's a horse. So it means it can step over things.
You said, never mind, it's fake. I know people are working on this, though. It's so funny. Yeah, definitely fake.
But I thought it was real. I legitimately thought, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's another breakthrough with robotics. No, not yet. This hasn't happened yet, but it's getting close, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
well, you're almost 50, so I'm just kidding.
Yeah, just 12 years away.
Anyone over 50 listening to this just got so mad at me. My generalizations.
Ageism, Travis.
Ageism.
It's going to be working against you soon, bro. Be careful.
I'm not saying it won't, but listen, when it comes to written copy that is done by ChatGPT, I'm like, no, that sounds legit. And then 20-year-olds are like, no, that's obviously AI. I'm like, how could you tell? So, turning 37.
Well, pretty soon, just give it one more year. It'll be all of us all the time. And we'll all be hopefully we all developed a really healthy level of skepticism about what's real online, because it's about to get real serious.
Here we go.
I mean, it's getting serious now. The next year is going to be the problem. Is it won't be obvious to most people yet because again, it's only 1/3 of the population, like we covered. So 2/3, the laggard third is going to be in big trouble because they're not going to know what's up.
Right.
Oh man. Well, it's going to be wild times. AI is growing. It's time to buckle up, learn everything you can because things are going to change. We don't know exactly how they're all going to change, but some things, it's pretty obvious. The writing's on the wall for it. And we need to do our best to stay up to date with it so that we can actually ride the wave in rather than be crushed from it like later on. So, but everybody knows that if you're listening to the show, you're well into it now and you're probably above where most people are.
And end.